Places to go.
Welcome to Places to Go, the podcast from Plazy. Plazy stands for lazy planning, and that means planning your trip. On our portal plazy.travel, you can put together your own personal travel guide for selected destinations. Hamburg is also included. So why not give it a try? I'm Paul from the Plazy team, and with Places to Go, Plazy is now also available as a podcast. Each episode is under 10 minutes long and provides you with good travel tips in a nutshell. This time, we would like to introduce you to 3 very special parks in Hamburg. First of all, it's not easy to choose, as Hamburg has around 1,460 parks and green spaces, more than any other city in Germany. These include the large, well-known parks, such as the Stadtpark, north of the Ulster Lake, which has its own swimming lake and Hamburg's planetarium, or the Volkspark in the west, very close to the HSV Stadium, or south of the Elbe in Wilhelmsburg, the large Inselpark, which was completely redesigned around 10 years ago for the International Garden Show. But here we introduce you to 3 somewhat more hidden gems, each with its own unique history. I'll start with a park that is actually a cemetery, Wohlers Park, located between the Altona Altstadt and Sternschanze districts. The first burial took place here in 1831 and the last in 1945. A good 46,000 people were buried here in the 150 years in between. You can still find some of these old gravestones today when you stroll through here. There is also an almost 200-year-old avenue of lime trees that was planted here for the cemetery. And what I like so much about this park is that it has a very small-scale, enchanted feel. It's not a large area, but you can easily find a small, secluded corner here for a picnic or a break in the greenery. The park is not only popular with local residents, but also with the students, who chill out here in summer before heading to the bars in the nearby Schanzenviertel. And sometimes, an open-air play takes place here, a concert, maybe even a Tai Chi course. The old cemetery has really become a very lively place. The next park on our list is a kind of statement. In 2018, the city created Bakken Park in an area that was still a rather unpolished mixture of wasteland and construction site. Since then, the new Bakken Quartier has been gradually being built here, to the east of Hafen City. But the park was here first, and it's not only fairly new, Hamburg's newest public park, but also really innovative. It was laid out on different levels. The highest point is the 14-meter-high Himmelsberg, from which you have a great view towards Hafen City, and the Elbphilharmonie Concert Hall. And all around there is sports equipment, playground equipment, but also very wide, very comfortable wooden loungers, and, by the way, fruit trees. So it's the perfect place to take a break if you're out and about in Hafen City or Speicherstadt and want to see how Hamburg is developing. The third park we can recommend is Jenisch Park in Othmarschen, a park that is somehow reminiscent of England, somehow also of a movie set. A typical Jane Austen film could easily be set here. In the middle is a huge central meadow with a rather austere neoclassical building in gleaming white, the Jenisch House. And at the foot of the park, that's where the Jane Austen romance ends, the Elbe with its container ships. What makes this park so special, apart from its greenery, are the cultural highlights. 3 museums are located here, one directly in the Jenisch House. The exhibition there gives you a good feel for the 19th century, when the Jenisch family of senators lived here. There is furniture, works of art, and, of course, the house itself, with its chandeliers and stucco ceilings. And then there are 2 more museums dedicated to individual artists. Ernst Barlach, who is primarily known for his sculptures, but also left behind many prints, and Eduard Bargier, a painter who was born in Finkenwerder, on the other side of the Elbe. And in the museum, which of course shows his paintings, you can see quite nicely across the river to his hometown of Finkenwerder. There's also a love story behind this park, albeit a sad one. It is about the man whose ideas are behind this park, Prince Hermann von Pückler-Muskau, the famous landscape architect. Many of you probably know the park named after him in Saxony, near the Polish border. Pückler traveled a lot and was a guest of Senator Jenisch and his wife Fanny, with whom he fell in love in Hamburg. An exchange of letters between the two was discovered a few years ago. It is said that Jenisch had invited Pückler. The two of them walked through the garden, and Puckler set off a firework display of ideas to impress Fanny. The spark was ignited in her, but she did not leave her husband, and wrote in one of her letters to Puckler, "I lack the courage to leave, the strength to stay." That was it, according to all that has come down to us. Puckler left, but his ideas for the park remained. Many people say that Janisch Park is the most romantic piece of green in the city. So 3 parks, 3 very different settings and moods that we have presented to you here. I hope these tips will not only make your trip to Hamburg a little greener, but also more beautiful. If so, please leave us a rating and a comment on your podcast platform. We would really appreciate it. And if you like to follow our podcast Places to Go, you'll automatically be notified whenever we publish a new episode and can see which other places to go we've found for you in Hamburg and the rest of the world. And as I said, Hamburg is one of the destinations for which you can put together your own personal travel guide on plazy.travel. Give it a try.